The Tortoise and the Hare by Aesop. Once upon a time, there was a hare who was very proud of his speed. He would often boast about how fast he could run, claiming that no one could ever beat him in a race. This made the tortoise, who was slow and steady, quite annoyed. One day, the tortoise couldn't take it anymore and challenged the hare to a race. The hare, laughing at the tortoise's proposal, gladly accepted. They agreed that the race would start the next morning, and the finish line would be a large tree in the distance. The next day arrived, and all the animals gathered to watch the race. The hare, confident in his abilities, took a quick nap under a tree just before the race was about to begin. Meanwhile, the tortoise, determined to give his best, slowly and steadily moved forward. As the race started, the hare immediately darted ahead, leaving the tortoise far behind. He was so fast that he decided to take a break and enjoy the scenery. The hare thought there was no way the tortoise would catch up, so he closed his eyes and dozed off. On the other hand, the tortoise continued his slow but persistent pace, never giving up. He plodded along, step by step, while the hare slept peacefully. The other animals, who were watching the race, began to cheer for the tortoise, impressed by his determination. Suddenly, the hare woke up, realizing he had wasted a lot of time. He quickly started running towards the finish line, hoping to make up for the lost time and win the race. But when he arrived, he was shocked to see the tortoise already there, patiently waiting for him. The tortoise had won the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. It doesn't matter how fast or talented you are. If you become overconfident and careless, someone who is determined and consistent can surpass you in the end. And so, the proud hare learned a valuable lesson that day, while the humble tortoise enjoyed his victory, proving that sometimes, it's not about being the fastest but about persevering until the end. Annoyed. Slightly angry. I was annoyed with myself for giving in so easily. Determined. Having made a definite decision to do something. I'm determined to succeed. Doze off. To fall asleep. She dozed off in front of the fire. Careless. Not giving enough attention. Losing my phone again was very careless of me. Proud. Feeling pleased and satisfied about something. The girls have made me extremely proud. Persevering. Being determined to achieve a particular aim despite difficulties. A few persevering climbers finally reached the top. Choose the best answers. This made the tortoise, who was slow and steady, quite annoyed. Meanwhile, the tortoise, determined to give his best, slowly and steadily moved forward. The hare thought there was no way the tortoise would catch up, so he closed his eyes and dozed off. If you become overconfident and careless, someone who is determined and consistent can surpass you. And so, the proud hare learned a valuable lesson that day. It's not about being the fastest but about persevering until the end. Say the answers. Why did the hare lose the race? Why did the hare lose the race? The hare was proud, so he lost the race. Why did the tortoise win the race? Why did the tortoise win the race? The tortoise was determined and persevering, so he won the race. What is the moral of the story? What is the moral of the story? Slow and steady wins the race. Repeat the sentences. He would often boast about how fast he could run, claiming that no one could ever beat him in a race. They agreed that the race would start the next morning, and the finish line would be a large tree in the distance. The next day arrived, and all the animals gathered to watch the race. The hare thought there was no way the tortoise would catch up, so he closed his eyes and dozed off. The other animals began to cheer for the tortoise, impressed by his determination. The Boy Who Cried Wolf by Aesop. Once upon a time, there was a young shepherd boy who was tasked with watching over a flock of sheep on the hillsides. To amuse himself, the boy would often cry out, "Wolf! Wolf!" even when there was no wolf in sight. The villagers would hear his cries and rush to his aid, only to discover that there was no danger. After a few false alarms, the villagers grew tired of the boy's pranks and stopped responding to his calls for help. They warned him that if he continued to deceive them, they would no longer come to his rescue when a real wolf appeared. One day, a mischievous wolf actually did come to the hills and began attacking the sheep. The frightened boy cried out, "Wolf! Wolf! Please, help!" But this time, the villagers, remembering his past deceptions, ignored his pleas, thinking it was another false alarm. The wolf, seizing the opportunity, wreaked havoc on the defenseless flock. The boy watched in horror as his sheep were scattered and injured. It was only when the wolf had finally gone and the damage was done that the boy realized the consequences of his actions. Filled with regret and sorrow, the boy went to the villagers, apologizing profusely for his lies and deceit. He understood the grave mistake he had made by not being truthful. From that day forward, the boy learned the importance of honesty and the consequences of his actions, forever regretting his foolish behavior. The moral of the story is that if you are dishonest and constantly deceive others, they may not believe you even when you are telling the truth. Flock. A group of sheep, goats, or birds of the same type. He looks after a flock of 300 sheep. Amuse. To make somebody laugh or smile. This will amuse you. Prank. A trick that is played on somebody as a joke. The incident was a prank that went wrong. Sorrow. A feeling of being very sad because something very bad has happened. He expressed his sorrow at the news of her death. Havoc. A situation in which things are seriously damaged. The floods caused havoc throughout the area. Choose the best answers. The villagers grew tired of the boy's pranks. There was a young shepherd boy who was tasked with watching over a flock of sheep. The wolf wreaked havoc on the defenseless flock. Filled with regret and sorrow, the boy apologized to the villagers. Say the answers. What was the boy's job? He was a shepherd. Why didn't the villagers respond to the boy's calls for help? They had grown tired of the boy's pranks. What did the boy learn? He learned the importance of honesty. Repeat the sentences. The villagers would hear his cries and rush to his aid. They would no longer come to his rescue when a real wolf appeared. The boy went to the villagers, apologizing profusely for his lies and deceit. The villagers ignored his pleas, thinking it was another false alarm. The Ant and the Grasshopper by Aesop. Once upon a time, in a sunny meadow, there lived an ant and a grasshopper. The ant was diligent and hardworking, gathering food and storing it for the winter days ahead. The grasshopper, on the other hand, loved to sing and dance all day long, enjoying the warmth of the sun. As summer turned to autumn, the days grew colder, and food became scarce. The ant continued to work tirelessly, carrying grains and seeds to its storage while the grasshopper continued to sing and play without a care. One cold and hungry winter day, the grasshopper, now shivering and weak, approached the ant's dwelling and begged for food. The ant, having anticipated the difficult times, had more than enough to sustain itself. However, it asked the grasshopper why it hadn't prepared for the winter when there was ample food available during the summer. The grasshopper, filled with regret, could only offer an apology and a promise to work hard and prepare for the next winter. But it was too late, as the ant explained that the winter was a time for rest and survival, not for leisure and enjoyment. The moral of this fable is that hard work and preparation yield rewards in times of need. It teaches us the importance of planning ahead, being diligent, and not solely indulging in temporary pleasures. Vocabulary. Diligent. Showing care and effort in your work or duties. The ant was a diligent worker. Scarce. There is not enough of something and it is only available in small quantities. In winter, resources are scarce. Tirelessly. In a way that involves putting a lot of hard work and energy into something. She has worked tirelessly for peace. Sustain. To provide enough of what somebody needs in order to live or exist. Which planets can sustain life? Regret. To feel sorry about something you have done. I soon came to regret my action. Indulge. To allow yourself to have or do something that you like. They went into town to indulge in some serious shopping. Choose the best answers. The days grew colder, and food became scarce. The ant was diligent and hardworking. The grasshopper, filled with regret, could only offer an apology. The ant continued to work tirelessly. The ant had more than enough to sustain itself. Don't indulge in temporary pleasures. Say the answers. How would you describe the ant? The ant was diligent and hardworking. What did the grasshopper love to do? The grasshopper loved to sing and dance all day long. What's the moral of the story? Hard work and preparation yield rewards in times of need. Repeat the sentences. Hard work and preparation yield rewards in times of need. The grasshopper continued to sing and play without a care. The moral of this fable is that hard work and preparation yield rewards in times of need. The Wise Owl and the Impatient Rabbit. The Wise Owl and the Impatient Rabbit lived in the same forest but had very different approaches to life. The owl would spend its days perched high on a branch, observing and contemplating the world around it. It would patiently wait for the right moment to swoop down and catch its prey. The rabbit, on the other hand, was always in a hurry. It would dash through the forest, barely noticing the beauty of nature. The rabbit often ignored the advice of the wise owl, dismissing it as unnecessary and time-consuming. One day, a heavy storm approached the forest. The wise owl, with its keen sense, sensed danger and took shelter in a hollow tree. The rabbit, however, continued to hop around, oblivious to the impending disaster. As the storm unleashed its fury, the rabbit realized its mistake. It desperately searched for a safe place but could find none. Eventually, the exhausted and drenched rabbit stumbled upon the wise owl's hiding spot. The owl, with its wisdom and foresight, had prepared for such a situation. It welcomed the rabbit inside and offered comfort. The rabbit, feeling regretful and grateful, learned an important lesson about patience and the value of thoughtful planning. The moral of the story is that patience, wisdom, and thoughtful planning lead to better outcomes in life. It teaches us to slow down, observe our surroundings, and make informed decisions rather than rushing into things impulsively. The story emphasizes the value of taking the time to consider different approaches and seeking guidance from wiser individuals, as their insights can often lead to success and avoid unnecessary trouble. Vocabulary. Approaches. Noun. Different methods or ways of doing something. The team discussed various approaches to solving the complex problem. Contemplating. Verb. Deeply thinking or pondering about something. She sat by the window, contemplating the meaning of life. Oblivious. Adjective. Unaware or not conscious of something. The driver was oblivious to the fact that he had a flat tire. Keen. Adjective. Having a sharp or strong ability to perceive or understand things. The detective had a keen eye for detail, which helped him solve crimes. Foresight. Noun. The ability to predict or anticipate future events or needs. A successful business owner had the foresight to invest in emerging technologies. Choose the correct answers. Which animal in the story lacked patience? A. Owl. B. Rabbit. C. Both. D. None. B. Rabbit. What is the meaning of the word thoughtful? A. Full of thoughts. B. Considerate and careful. C. Absent-minded. D. Quick to act. B. Considerate and careful. What does the word dense describe in the story? A. The rabbit's impatience. B. The wise owl's wisdom. C. The storm in the forest. D. The forest itself. D. The forest itself. Which animal took shelter during the storm? A. Owl. B. Rabbit. C. Both. D. None. A. Owl. What lesson did the rabbit learn from the wise owl? A. The importance of patience and planning. B. The value of being quick and impulsive. C. The joy of exploring the forest. D. The significance of being thoughtful. A. The importance of patience and planning. What was the wise owl known for? A. Impatience. B. Thoughtfulness and wisdom. C. Hopping around. D. Ignoring advice. B. Thoughtfulness and wisdom. Answer the questions. How did the owl spend its days? The owl would spend its days perched high on a branch, observing and contemplating the world around it. How did the rabbit spend its days? It would dash through the forest, barely noticing the beauty of nature. What's the moral of the story? Patience, wisdom, and thoughtful planning lead to better outcomes in life. Repeat the sentences. The rabbit often ignored the advice of the wise owl, dismissing it as unnecessary and time-consuming. The wise owl, with its keen sense, sensed danger and took shelter in a hollow tree. As the storm unleashed its fury, the rabbit realized its mistake. The rabbit, feeling regretful and grateful, learned an important lesson about patience and the value of thoughtful planning. The Cunning Fox and the Naive Crow. Once upon a time, the cunning fox spotted a crow sitting on a high branch of a tree, holding a piece of delicious cheese in its beak. The fox devised a plan to steal the cheese by taking advantage of the crow's naivety. Approaching the tree, the fox praised the crow's magnificent feathers and asked if it could hear the crow's beautiful singing voice. Flattered, the naive crow opened its beak to sing, dropping the cheese in the process. The cunning fox quickly grabbed the cheese and devoured it, leaving the crow feeling foolish. The moral of the story is that one should not be easily deceived by flattery or fall for the tricks of others. It highlights the importance of being cautious, discerning, and not letting one's guard down, especially when dealing with manipulative individuals who may have ulterior motives. Vocabulary: cunning, adjective, cleverness or slyness in achieving one's goals through deceit or trickery. The cunning fox outsmarted the other animals by pretending to be injured. Naivety, noun, lack of experience, wisdom, or judgment, resulting in being easily deceived or manipulated. Due to her naivety, she fell for the scam and lost all her savings. Devised, verb, planned or invented something through careful thought or effort. The detective devised a clever strategy to catch the thief. Flattered, adjective, praised or honored by compliments or praise. She felt flattered when her artwork received positive reviews from critics. Devoured, verb, consumed or eaten quickly and eagerly. The hungry wolves devoured the carcass within minutes. Choose the correct answers. What is the meaning of the word cunning? A. Innocent and naive. B. Skilled in deceit or trickery. C. Honest and straightforward. D. Lacking experience or wisdom. B. Skilled in deceit or trickery. Which animal in the story lacked wisdom and judgment? A. Fox. B. Crow. C. Both. D. None. B. Crow. What does the word deceit refer to in the story? A. The cunning fox's plan. B. The crow's singing voice. C. The beautiful meadow. D. The high branch of the tree. A. The cunning fox's plan. How did the fox manage to steal the cheese? A. By praising the crow's feathers. B. By grabbing it from the crow's beak. C. By singing a beautiful song. D. By convincing the crow to drop it. D. By convincing the crow to drop it. What lesson can be learned from this story? A. The importance of honesty and straightforwardness. B. The value of praising others' qualities. C. The danger of being naive and easily deceived. D. The significance of having magnificent feathers. C. The danger of being naive and easily deceived. Which animal was known for its slyness and trickery? A. Fox. B. Crow. C. Both. D. None. A. Fox. Answer the questions. What did the crow have in its beak? It had cheese in its beak. Why did the crow drop the cheese? The crow dropped it because it was singing. What's the moral of the story? One should not be easily deceived by flattery or fall for the tricks of others. Repeat the sentences. The fox devised a plan to steal the cheese by taking advantage of the crow's naivety. The cunning fox quickly grabbed the cheese and devoured it, leaving the crow feeling foolish. The moral of the story is that one should not be easily deceived by flattery or fall for the tricks of others. The greedy dog and the mirror. The greedy dog, fascinated by its own reflection in the mirror, mistook it for another dog. The dog was holding a bone in its mouth, which the real dog wanted for itself. Believing that the other dog had a bigger bone, the greedy dog decided to snatch it away. Without giving it a second thought, the dog lunged towards the mirror, opening its mouth wide to grab the bone. But as it did so, the bone in the reflection disappeared. The greedy dog was left with nothing but a mouthful of air. Realizing its foolishness, the dog felt disappointed and regretful. It understood that its own greed had led to its loss. The mirror was just an illusion, and the dog had lost the bone it already had, all because it desired more. From that day forward, the dog learned the valuable lesson of contentment. It no longer chased after illusions or coveted what others had. Instead, it learned to appreciate and be satisfied with what it already possessed. The moral of the story is that greed can lead to loss and regret. The story cautions against being consumed by desires for more and teaches the importance of being content with what one already possesses. It highlights the folly of chasing after illusions and the dangers of not appreciating the value of what one has. Ultimately, it reminds us that true fulfillment and happiness come from being grateful for what we have rather than constantly striving for more. Vocabulary words. Fascinated. Adjective. Extremely interested or captivated by something. Sentence. The children were fascinated by the magician's tricks. Mistook. Verb. Wrongly identified or interpreted something or someone. Sentence. She mistook her neighbor's twin sister for her during a chance encounter. Snatch. Verb. To quickly and forcefully grab or take something away. Sentence. The thief tried to snatch the woman's purse and run away. Illusion. Noun. A deceptive or misleading perception or appearance. Sentence. The magician created the illusion of a disappearing coin. Regretful. Adjective. Feeling or expressing regret or sorrow for one's actions or decisions. Sentence. He was regretful for not apologizing sooner and hurting his friend's feelings. Contentment. Noun. A state of happiness or satisfaction with one's circumstances or possessions. Sentence. She finally found contentment in the simple joys of everyday life. Multiple choice questions. What is the meaning of the word greedy? A. Having a kind heart. B. Desiring more than what is needed. C. Being generous and selfless. D. Not caring about possessions. B. Desiring more than what is needed. Which animal in the story mistook the mirror for another dog? A. Dog. B. Cat. C. Rabbit. D. Nun. A. Dog. What does the word wandering describe in the story? A. The dog's greed. B. The mirror's reflection. C. The dog's aimless movement. D. The village's layout. C. The dog's aimless movement. What did the greedy dog hope to snatch from the other dog? A. A bone. B. A mirror. C. Food. D. A toy. A bone. What lesson did the dog learn from its experience with the mirror? A. The importance of sharing. B. The value of possessions. C. The consequence of greed. D. The joy of reflection. C. The consequence of greed. What was the dog's initial reaction when it saw the mirror? A. Fear. B. Excitement. C. Confusion. D. Indifference. B. Excitement. Answer the questions. What was the dog holding in its mouth? It was holding a bone in its mouth. How did the dog feel when it lost its bone? The dog felt disappointed and regretful. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that greed can lead to loss and regret. Repeat the sentences. Believing that the other dog had a bigger bone, the greedy dog decided to snatch it away. The greedy dog was left with nothing but a mouthful of air. From that day forward, the dog learned the valuable lesson of contentment. The moral of the story is that greed can lead to loss and regret. The Lion and the Mouse. Once upon a time, a mighty lion was sleeping peacefully under a tree in the heart of the jungle. The lion's majestic presence commanded respect from all the animals in the vicinity. As the sun shone brightly overhead, a tiny mouse scurried by, accidentally stumbling upon the lion's slumbering form. Startled by the mouse's inadvertent disturbance, the lion's eyes flew open, and his roar shook the trees. The mouse, trembling with fear, found itself trapped beneath the immense paw of the mighty beast. Realizing its dire situation, the mouse pleaded desperately for mercy, promising that it could be of assistance to the lion in the future. The lion, amused by the audacity of such a small creature, considered the mouse's words. Contemplating the potential usefulness of having a loyal ally, the lion decided to grant mercy to the tiny mouse. With a flick of his paw, the lion released the mouse, allowing it to scurry away to safety. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. One fateful day, the lion found himself ensnared in a hunter's net, unable to escape the cruel trap. Roaring in distress, his mighty voice echoed through the jungle, reaching the ears of the tiny mouse, who remembered the debt it owed. Without hesitation, the mouse rushed to the lion's aid. Using its sharp teeth, the mouse gnawed away at the ropes of the net, freeing the grateful lion. The lion, humbled by the unwavering loyalty and courage of the small creature, expressed his heartfelt gratitude. From that day forward, the once mighty lion and the humble mouse formed an unlikely friendship. The lion learned that even the smallest beings can possess great value, and the mouse discovered the power of kindness and compassion. Together, they roamed the jungle, the lion's strength protecting the mouse from harm, and the mouse's wisdom offering guidance to the lion when needed. Their friendship became legendary, reminding all who witnessed it that true strength lies not only in physical might but also in the bonds we forge with others, no matter their size. The moral of the story is that even small acts of kindness can have significant impacts. The story emphasizes the idea that no act of compassion or assistance is too small to make a difference. It teaches us to treat others with kindness and respect, regardless of their size or status. Additionally, the fable highlights the interconnectedness of all living beings, showing that helping others can lead to unexpected rewards and foster positive relationships. Vocabulary: trapped. Verb: caught or confined in a confined space or a difficult situation. Sentence: the hikers were trapped in the cave due to the heavy rain and rising water level. Plead. Verb: to make an emotional appeal or request earnestly. Sentence: she pleaded with her parents to let her go to the party. Mercy. Noun: compassion shown toward someone who is in one's power to harm or punish. Sentence: the judge showed mercy and reduced the sentence for the first-time offender. Mighty. Adjective: possessing great power, strength, or influence. Sentence: the mighty king ruled over his kingdom with authority and wisdom. Accidentally. Adverb: happening by chance or unintentionally. Sentence: she accidentally spilled her coffee on the table while reaching for her phone. Choose the correct answers. How did the lion react when the mouse accidentally woke him up? A. He ignored the mouse. B. He hugged the mouse. C. He trapped the mouse under his paw. D. He offered the mouse some food. C. He trapped the mouse under his paw. What does the word trapped mean in the story? A. Set free. B. Caught or confined. C. Followed closely. D. Played a musical instrument. B. Caught or confined. What did the mouse do to earn the lion's mercy? A. Promised to help the lion in the future. B. Ran away as fast as possible. C. Attacked the lion. D. Ignored the lion's plea. A. Promised to help the lion in the future. Which word describes the lion's power and strength? A. Enraged. B. Trapped. C. Plead. D. Mighty. D. Mighty. What does the word accidentally mean? A. On purpose. B. Happening by chance. C. Intentionally. D. Slowly and carefully. B. Happening by chance. Answer the questions. What event led to the lion and the mouse forming an unlikely friendship? The mouse rescued the lion from a hunter's net. What lesson does the fable teach about the value of small acts of kindness? Small acts of kindness can lead to unexpected rewards. How does the relationship between the lion and the mouse change throughout the story? They start as enemies and become friends. Repeat the sentences. Once upon a time, a mighty lion was sleeping peacefully under a tree. The lion, enraged by the disturbance, trapped the mouse under his massive paw. The mouse pleaded for mercy and promised to help the lion in the future if given a chance. The lion realized the value of the tiny mouse and spared its life, showing mercy.